where we are where we are hosting our guest from Australia. We'll know more about her. But now I would like to introduce you all to our very favorite and our very, very amazing Dr. Mandakini Megh. Megh Madam is the National President of the Association of Medical Women of India. She's the International Vice President of
One minute. Can I just share the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. MWIA Central Asia 2019 to 2021.
Wait. 1 second.
Ma'am, I'll keep introducing her. We can display.
Yeah. That's
She's the chair of MWIA Social Media and Communications Committee and a director of Global Training of Eliminating the VAWG. She's the National Vice President of FOXY from 2012 to 2013. Along with that, Madam is also the International President-elect for MWIA. And congratulations, ma'am, on this election.
Thank you.
Along with that, Madam is also a Director of Health Services, GOM in charge of Family Welfare, RCH, PCP, NDT, MTP, and others. And as we all know, Madam has been one who has been guiding us and all of the gynecologists in India throughout everything legal and government protocols. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think Gauri was to play a video.
Yeah, ma'am. At the outset, this AMWI Connect program that we have initiated through AMWI is to introduce ourselves and the world to all the women leaders that we have, and to draw inspiration from them and to form like a guideline or a guiding path for all of us. So at the outset, I would like to thank our president, Dr. Mandakini Megh, for this concept and for taking this concept forward, and all our members who have been supporting this issue. And so at the outset, I would just like to give all of us a little introduction of what AMWI has been doing and all about a little about AMWI. So just give me a second that I share this with you.
Yeah. So I think, thank you, Gauri. It was quite, visually it was wonderful. So I think, first of all, I'd like to welcome our orator, chief guest, and the distinguished invitees for this podcast, Dr. Gabriel Kasper, and I can call her my mentor because now she's going to be my mentor. She has promised me, isn't it? She's going to mentor me for the future this role of MWA president. And I think wonderful, lovely person, professionally excellent, a great leader, and also a compassionate caregiver for the women. I think that is the quality. We were very warm. Whenever I used to meet her in any conference, I think we met each and every, whether it is Vienna, whether it is New York, whether it is, we were in the Bangkok together. So, very warm and very cordial person. We really feel like immediately going to her, talking to her. So wonderful. So very grand welcome to this Association of Medical Women in India on this platform. And also there is a very great coincidence that Dr. Kasper already knows India more than many of our members, they know it. Because when she told me about Dr. Tulsi Basu, Dr. Arti Basu, her contribution to the mission hospital, which we people do not know. So I think you have opened a total new side of the history. We were just blowing our tempo that we know the history, we know that. But today, when you send the presentation, then I realize how much you have already contributed. We will show that later on. We will show that later on.
Can't hear. Mandakini, we can't hear you.
All got muted.
Yeah.
Megh, madam, you've got muted.
Megh, madam, you are muted. Okay.
Mala mahiti hai. I am purposefully muted.
Oh.
Okay.
Because there was some disturbance. So share, I'm just sharing it. So 1 minute. Few of the photographs already shown by our Dr. Gauri, but some of the photographs which. So I think welcome to this a small presentation of Association Medical Women of India, which will be added very, very amply by the material provided by Dr. Gabriel Kasper, which I am going to put on my slides, and which will make it complete. So thank you to the leadership, thank you all my regions, and thank you to all the office bearers of the AMWI for their continuous support and to bring this particular very prestigious position to India and giving me this very, very honor and privilege to become the president of Medical Women International. Now, in short, this is the the progress which we have sent recently to MWI, that in international recognition was given to and leadership to AMWI first time in the history, 117 years of history of AMWI. India or the Central Asia region is given the leadership, and they have recognized our contribution. They have recognized our hard work, and they have recognized our persistent efforts in the women's healthcare. So I thank you each and every past president of MWI for their, because whosoever is talking to me, the Mandakini, it is so great, and I'm getting all over support from all the regions. Then the Global Dialogue Connect. So Dr. Kasper, I would like to tell you that Dr. Bettina, we conducted 1.5 months before, and I think I have sent to everything. It was wonderful podcast, and everybody liked it, and they really want to see different aspects of leadership, because they are not coming in, face-to-face contact with the leadership. So this is the platform where we come to know ourselves, we come to know so many things which you have already done for India. Now, in my presidentship, I have started making lots of members, and that note has been taken by the central leadership that we have started chapters. So we have already 16 chapters, and last 3 months, we have already opened Tamil Nadu chapter, Bangalore chapter, Odisha chapter, Northeast, Hassan chapter, Raipur chapter, and this is wonderful that AMWI's presence all over India. India is such a big country. Previously, it was only limited to Kolkata, to Nagpur, and to Mumbai. And all other women doctors who wanted to become the members, they were not knowing anything about it. So I thought it is my prime duty to take the work of our ancestor legacy to these people and get them involved in our AMWA and MWA activity. So this is the very positive side of the AMWA, which we have already started. Then we are giving Golden Jubilee Awards. We are getting this tax, exemption. Then there are many activities of the Kolkata branch. Recently, we had in the last for August, we had a national conference in Mumbai, and this is attended by, all the senior administrator, policy makers, like that. And now coming to the consolidation, all women doctors came together, help the doctors, propagate the medical education, help them in the practice, and hand holding. I mean, that time it was very much needed because they had all the, problems, domestic problem, religious, and so many people. Then the era of widening of horizons. Like now we are having the same thing because suddenly there is digital, suddenly there is artificial intelligence, so many things are coming. So this is the era again of widening the horizon. Then we have the era of arrival when actually everything was stabilized. And girls are now more in the medical education rather than the boys in India. We have 60 to 70% women doctors. So I mean, and yesterday only, day before Dr. Gabriel, that we are conducting cytology colposcopy course for the trainees. Dr. Usha Saraya, myself, I was there, and I was told to give the history. So Dr. Edith Pichi was the 1886. Kama Hospital was established in 1886, and she was the first superintendent of the Kama and Elbrus Hospital. So we got a 138 years of such an iconic hospital, and still Kama Hospital cytology is running so well. People are recognizing. I think in your slides also you have shown that you really very much appreciate the work which AMWI cytology clinic in preventive oncology they are doing. So our AMWI was established in Kama Hospital in 1907. These are a few of the pictures. Dr. Annie Benson was the first president, and first 5 presidents were Britishers, because that time there were no women doctors who were graduated or post-graduated from the India itself. So, and we are very appreciative of our, that time the presence of Britishers, and the Queen Victoria has sent such a huge grant to establish the women hospital. Kama and Elbrus was the one of its kind, which was established by this fund. And I'm very fortunate. I was heading this hospital for almost 14 years. And also in Amravati, there is women hospital, Akola women hospital, Lady Garding. And I was, heading all these hospitals in my career. So I'm extremely honored. Dr. Dosibai Dadabai was the first superintendent, first Indian superintendent, president of AMWI. And Jerusa Gerard, I really, pray. And she is such a honor person that Dr. Gerard was the first president of AMWI. Sorry, not first president, 1948 to 57. So this is a legacy, great history. And they were very brave. It's not like a passively, they were not working. They were going out of the way, fighting with the customs, wrong customs, Parda Pratha. Women had 3 to 4, HB was so low. They were dying of PPH and so much and so on going on. They fought with all this custom, Parda Pratha. And I think they were very brave than us. You can see her, the lone woman here in the College of Physicians, and she is the Dosibai Dadabai, first woman to be in the Royal College. So what AMWI has achieved? AMWI has achieved what successfully in the field of medical education for women. So the medical education to be imparted to the women, right to practice as a medical woman, demanded dignified status. Doctors are, I think, done a lot of work as far as not only women's health, but for the women doctors itself. So AMWI members motivated that Lady Harding Hospital was established by AMWI. You can see here the old structure, and now it has become such a big medical college in Delhi. Then Mission Hospital, I think it is very close to our guest, the Dr. Gabriel's heart, that she herself has visited Mission Hospital so many times, given the grant. runs a maternity hospital, and this is the only organization in the world running a hospital of its own. So how much legacy, history, and such a courageous work is done by our AMWI. I think we are very indebted that we are carrying on the legacy of such. So these are the aims and objectives. I will not go in the detail, which has been shown by Gauri. This was my installation. I am the 24th president of National President. This is conferences, all VIPs. This is a very interesting piece of history. The Platinum Conference was held by the Kolkata branch, Mission Hospital. So I have just preserved all the record. This is, you can see me, this is the Mumbai branch has celebrated 100 years when I was the president of Mumbai branch, that is 2007. I was the president, and you can see here, everybody, you can recognize Usha Saraya Madam, Dinu Dalal. I think you tried, this is Mehru Pardiwala, sorry, Vandana Valvekar Madam herself. And then she was Jyoti Trivedi, and so on. So, and this is the centenary celebration, first organization to hold the, the function in the Raj Darbar Hall, that is a governor's house. So, I mean, we had a very prestigious moment. This is Chief Secretary, Government of Maharashtra, and all the chapter secretary. I will not go in the detail. This is again the Girard oration given to Dr. Sati Keswani. Then this is a CRC oration. So internationally, AMWI is giving a lot of oration. No other country actually is going the oration and giving the, distinguished. They are recognizing the distinguished. So I think we are quite ahead of all other countries that we really admire and give them the, awards. This is Central Asia Oration Trophy given to the Dr. Daruni in this very recently in this year. And this is our international body, MWIA. This was the executive. And I was very fortunate to be installed when Dr. Gabriel has given the Girard oration that time, that in that ceremony later on, I was installed as the CARC president in New York. You can see here. So this was and these are very other, Vienna conference, the CRC conferences, MWF conferences, and we are a part of WHO. We are all attending very active group. This is Taiwan in the, this was Taiwan in the, this COVID period. So friends, the success of every woman should be the inspiration to another. And we will take a lot of inspiration or guidance from our guest today. We're looking forward for her interview. And the medicine women is the soul of healing, deep feminine that will heal themselves and the world. So thank you, I think, for your patient listening. And we go ahead with the program.
So thank you, Megh ma'am, for this wonderful introduction to all the activities and the history of AMWI. And it is really a great matter of pride and honor that we have been an association which is more than 100 years old now. And we have this, we share this legacy today. So moving on with our program, I would like to introduce our chief guest for today, Dr. Vandana Valvekar Madam. And we all know Dr. Vandana Valvekar Madam, but yes, all the same, I would like to introduce her to all of us. And Dr. Vandana Valvekar actually has been a very vibrant member of AMWI, and she has been the past president of the Mumbai OBGY Society, past president of AFUMB, the past president of ISOPAB, past vice president of FOXY, a past national president of AMWI. She is the trustee of the Mumbai OBGY Society and the vice president-elect for the Southeast Asia region of Central Asia region for MWIA. So this is again a great matter of pride and honor for India that we are holding these positions for the next coming years. So Valvekar ma'am, we invite you as the chief guest, and if you can share your words with us of guidance and and encouragement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you, Gauri, for the introduction. And I would like to say that I am really pleasure and privilege to be part of this Global Connect program, which only speaks of a little more activity on Dr. Mandakini's part, where she has just mentioned. She has really done a very good job as far as the extension of the things are concerned. And that brings me to a different type of a concept altogether. If I can share my thoughts, it would be nice, because we are a multidisciplinary organization, one. Secondly, we have, as medical faculty, not men and women both, have done work so hard, and we have brought the health of the world, women as well as men, significantly better. This has given an life expectancy which is much, much longer than before. So Indian life expectancy of a woman was about 52, 55, 30 years back, and today it is 74 years plus. Now, this has positive things and negative things. Well, what is the positive thing? That we are living longer? Thank you very much. Okay. The another positive thing is that we are spending 1/3 of our life in the peri and the postmenopausal period. One. Second thing is that because we are living longer, we are being able to be socially more important, financially more important, and we are crossing the glass ceilings. Women much more in numbers than it was done earlier. And therefore, we need to have this quality of life and maintain the quality of life. But it can't be done. Why? Because in the peri and postmenopausal period, we are subject to a lot of comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, thyroid dysfunction, more very importantly, social, psychosexual problems, which gives rise to marital and social disharmony. So this is a problem which is internationally possible. This is a problem which is present. And I think MWIA is the correct organization to express and impart the necessary the treatment for the same. So what my thoughts are, that we, as the Dean of the Medical College Hospital and as the President of AMWI and the various institutions that Dr. Gauri has just mentioned, we have created many awareness programs, workshops, etc. And I think MWIA should look at it as like a wellness program. If the wellness program is created, then we are able to not only, we cannot eliminate the diseases, but we can control the diseases much lesser and give the woman of the world the quality of life. And therefore, I think what we should do is create awareness, create welfare centers, create shows. Dr. Mandakini is in Global Connect, so we can do that internationally also. And therefore, I think it's very important. This is a suggestion that we can definitely improve the health of the woman by this AI and internet facilities. So these are thoughts. I hope we put it into something as we go further. And now I will feel that Dr. Mandakini already has said, but the Dr. Gabriela Kasper, she is a very, very important guest. She was the vice president of the MWIA, and she is a very esteemed professional and has a lot of deep insights into the professional as well as MWIA. And therefore, she's going to give us her thoughts, and we are looking forward to it anxiously. So, Dr. Kasper, you are very welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pfleiderer, madam. Always a pleasure and always inspiring to listen to you. You know, you're always giving us new insights and new ideas as to how we need to move on. And it's always a pleasure to listen to you. So thank you for being with us. And we will move on with our program. Today, we have been eagerly waiting for Professor Gabriela Kasper to, to share her views with us and to talk to us today. And we are really privileged that ma'am has agreed to be on our Global Connect Dialogues podcast that we have started. So it is really indeed a pleasure to have you here, ma'am. And, the number of the conversations that have gone on the email over the last month have been very interesting, especially between Dr. Megh and Dr. Kasper, when, you see two old friends, connecting again. It's such a lovely thing, and I have been experiencing it. So thank you so much for making me a part of, your friendship. So along with that, I would like to introduce Professor Gabriela Kasper as she's a gynecologist, a medical educator, a health advocate, and a humanitarian. Now, at present, she is the head of Department of Gynecology in North Sydney and the member of RANZCOG Medical Schools Curriculum Working Group, also member of the International Task Force to develop a core curriculum in obstetrics and gynecology for medical students globally. and the professor and head of Department of OBGY at the School of Medicine, Sydney, the University of Notre Dame, Australia. She has been the Medical Women International Association president from 2004 to 2007. But before that, she has been working for 18 years. So she has given 18 years of her career to MWIA. She has also been the president of Australian Federation of Medical Women from 2001 to 2005. And she has received several awards, but I have just put down some few of them, ma'am. That is the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists Distinguished Service Medal in 2024, the Korean Medical Women's Association Kyunga Park Award for work on violence against women, that is in 2024 again, the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria 2019 award, and one of our most coveted orations that she has given is the Dr. Girard oration in 2019, and also the American Medical Women's Association Exceptional Mentor Award in 2019. And to top it off, all her connection with India, which began way back in 2001, the story which will unfold today in her interview is her honorary life member of Association of Medical Women in India for assisting Mission Hospital in Kolkata in 2001. So welcome, Professor Gabriel, ma'am. And we are really looking forward to listening to you and to your life journey and all that you have been doing in over so many years. So over to you and Dr. Megh to take this conversation forward.
Greetings from Sydney, and thank you for your kind words.
And
I'm humbled and honoured to have been invited to this very special event. I'd like to thank the organisation committee, and in particular, Drs. Mandakini Megh, Vandana Welakar, and Gauri Karandikar. I feel Mandakini and I have lived mirrored lives, both gynecologists, both love colposcopy, and both passionate about violence against women. I also would like to give you my sincere condolences with respect to the recent horrific plane accident, which has been a terribly distressing event. Tonight I am wearing both my badge of my life membership of AMWI and my past president of MWIA. So greetings and thank you for having me.
so thank you, Dr. Kasper. And I think everybody is, so eager because we are just developing the suspense, how you are connected, how much you are done for the India, and so on and so forth. So I think not keeping the audience waiting, I will start, wonderful questions. So once again, welcome to this podcast. First question, I think, will be the best question, that what inspired you to pursue a career in gynecology, and what influenced you in your early years to shape your commitment to women's health and rights? So we will really like to know this particular aspect of your younger days, Dr. Kasper.
I simply loved gynecology as a medical student. I had a passion for improving women's health across the lifespan, from adolescence through to menopause. And also gynecology gave me that beautiful blend of medicine and surgery. In 1995, 30 years ago, as a young doctor, I attended the MWIA International Congress at The Hague. During that meeting, I was voted in as chair of MWIA Young Forum. I then continued on the executive for 17 years, but it was as a member of the MWIA executive that I met Dr. Tulsi Basu. She was the regional vice president. She was from India, and she sat next to me at every executive meeting and guided me through those first few years. I also learned that MWIA gave me the opportunity to truly use my gynecology knowledge so I could advocate for women's rights and access to care. It gave me an opportunity to be involved in social justice projects and public health, and because gynecology does have a global impact. Reproductive health is central to global health, addressing maternal mortality, family planning, cervical cancer prevention, and menstrual equity. I learned through MWIA how to convert medical, social, and community issues into funded research policy. And gynecology as a background helped me, along with MWIA, to give me the opportunity to be involved in guiding and directing research work and recommendations on women's health policy in Australia and internationally. So what can I say? I still love gynecology, and for those of you who haven't made a career choice, gynecology is the best.
Thank you. I think very inspiring words that how you started your gynecological career and what you had in the mind. So our viewers, there are younger viewers also here. They are going to definitely, think about it. So many MBBS doctors are there. Why young women doctors are there? So I think they can just consider, because they are nowadays other careers or other branches are becoming quite popular, like radiology, like pathology and other branches. But the gynecology remains the core of every
Lady gynecologist.
there, because when I was young, hmm, when I was young, that time my uncle used to ask, Ki, what you want to become? In Marathi he used to ask me. So I used to tell a small, girl in a frock, lady doctor. So he said, you are already a lady. Why you want to become a lady doctor? So lady doctor means a gynecologist. So thank you very much, Dr. Gabriel. Now AMWA is running a clinic. Day before we has the, the 68th course. No, sorry, it was 46th course of inauguration of the colposcopy course of the FOXY. And I think Dr. Usha Saragya and other faculties, great job. AMWA, it is running cytology clinic. And you have performed your in biodata, we see so much you have done in the preventive oncology. And nowadays it is on the top of the medical agenda, administrative policies and HPV vaccination. So when you are doing 120 colposcopy almost per week, and that lead to clinical trials in cervical dysplasia. And here we have a lot of common things as far as the common interest I can call. And how have this experience influenced you in the advancement of cervical cancer, then cervical cancer screening and women's health care? And what is the status of HPV vaccination in your country? Because your country is quite advanced as compared to ours. So please, give us your thoughts on this.
Thank you very much. Cervical cancer is the fourth most common cancer in the world globally. There were 660,000 new cases and 350,000 deaths in 2022. In that same year, 94% of the deaths caused by cervical cancer occurred in low and middle income countries. 94%. Cervical cancer disproportionately affects younger women. 95% of cervical cancer is caused by persistent infection with the HPV virus. So the strategies to prevent cervical cancer certainly include prophylactic vaccination against HPV and screening and treatment of pre-cancer lesions. And then even if cervical cancer is detected, if it can be cured, if it is diagnosed at an early stage and treated promptly. Countries around the world are working to accelerate the elimination of cervical cancer in the coming decades, with an agreed set of 3 targets to be met by 2030. The WHO global strategy defines elimination as reducing the number of new cases annually to 4 or fewer per 100,000 women, and it sets 3 targets to be achieved by the year 2030, and that's for all countries. 90% of girls should be vaccinated with the HPV vaccine by age 15, 70% of women screened with a high-quality test by ages 35 and 45, and 90% of women with cervical disease should be receiving treatment. Now, Australian targets are set for cervical cancer to become classified as a rare disease by 2035. So at present, we have an incidence of 6.3% of new cases per 100,000 people. We just have to get it down to 4 new cases per 100,000. So 30 years ago, I was involved in a research team, and we're investigating this handheld probe that you shine onto a patient's cervix and measure the light reflected back onto the probe. And we thought this would be a great way of detecting cervical precancers. So easy. Everyone could get a probe, it's battery operated, touch people's cervixes, and you'd have a reading in your hand saying precancer or normal. And I saw 1,000 women, and I touched their cervixes with this probe, undertook cervical cytology, and I did a colposcopy. So it's a very large trial. Unfortunately, the probe was not commercially viable. What a shame. So we're back to good old HPV, cervical cytology, and colposcopy. However, 32 years ago, I did provide Professor Ian Fraser with my patient's cervical cancer tissue, and this was useful in the development of the HPV Gardasil vaccine. My understanding is the HPV vaccine has mainly been available in India only on private scripts, but I believe your government is about to change that, and I think that is going to be an incredible step forward for the women in India.
I think giving a very, overall perspective, and I think we are also, as a MWIA, deeply involved into the screening and preventive oncology, and now the HPV vaccination. India is throughout in the country and we are producing and we are making our own vaccination. That is the main important thing which you have mentioned. And now Government of India, in its vaccination schedule, they are going to introduce, because we are now indigenous in our own making. So I think the cost-wise economy, I think it will be quite useful for them to have their own vaccination. And this vaccination will be the game changer as far as the incidence, reducing the incidence of cervical cancer is concerned. So thank you very much for that wonderful, that making us aware about this. And now I just want to come to your leadership. We are very eager to know that when you were the president of Medical Women International, especially, I'm so much interested to know that during your tenure, now there is this thing that Eleanor is having. So similarly, during your tenure, MWIA president, what were your prominent themes? And in 20 years later, does MWIA still need to work in those areas of advanced gender equity and in medicine today? So what is your...
Thank you for your question, Mandakini. I had 3 prominent themes. One was gender, culture, competence in health. So how does being a woman or a man, or how does your culture alter your outcome? And that's the gender and culture of the doctor and the gender and culture of the patient. The second one was women's health and human rights, the right to access health, and also including violence against women. And the third one was leadership issues for women doctors, where it is clear much needed to be done to ensure the barriers to advancement of women were removed. And just as my term was ending, the HPV vaccine came out, where we were arguing strongly about the free availability of this vaccine. Yeah. So it ended up, I started with 3, I ended up with 4, and Mandakini, 20 years later, these are still prominent things. Yeah. I think we barely touched the edges, so I'm hoping you'll be able to look into all of these as well.
Yeah, so I think whatever you were facing 20 years back, the gender equity still is a big thing.
Correct.
In this year, United Nations, women, CSWs, all the themes we see here, that still there is a lot to be done. And today we have, in our guest, we have Dr. Mini also. She is the chairperson of the violence against women. She is the chair of MWIA. Welcome, Dr. Mini. I can't see you here, but we are doing lots of training for the gender equality. Gauri is one of the chief convener with me. I am the global training director. I think the still exist. The gender gaps are still exist, and it needs to be. And you have seen our Kolkata incidents last year, August, and so on and so forth. So I think we need to be doing a lot of work in this area. And in my presidentship also, I assure you that this will be one of the very prominent themes when I take over as a president. So thank you very much. Now, I want to ask you very interesting question is that, about the academic medicine. So over last 35 years, 1 minute. This break, 1 minute. Over the last 35 years, what role did you see the AMWI taking using the academic medicine to improve the patient care and the working with the WHO, which we are affiliated, WHO United Nations? So this is a very important question as far as Medical Women International is concerned. So I will like you to please put light on this subject, Dr. Gabriel.
Thank you very much. MWI members, we understand because of our training the need for data collection, research, teaching to improve outcomes for our patients. But we often see things through different eyes because we are women doctors. So during my term as chair of Scientific and Research Committee, we sponsored 4 research projects. And one of them was the widowhood rights in Nigeria. That was data collection on women who are being tortured by the community because their husband had died and they'd become a widow. We also sponsored Tulsi Basu in Calcutta, where she was doing a project about appropriate pain relief in cancer patients in Calcutta. Judith Go on urinary incontinence after genital tract fistula repair in Ethiopia. So they would repair the fistula, but the women still actually had urinary incontinence. And the 4th one was in Sierra Leone with Diana Jarrett, and that was on emergency healthcare for women and girls released from rebel lines, where we found that you might have $20 to treat a boy and a man, and $20 to treat a girl and a woman. But where the girls had been repeatedly raped, had STDs, now had fistulas from early pregnancies, that $20 wasn't enough. We learned about how you actually need more money to be spent on a woman to get the same good outcome. So it showed us again about needing equity rather than just equality. And these projects, they documented research by our members, but they also served for a basis for advocacy in their own country and at the WHO and at the UN. They could take these research data with them, and we help them with their advocacy. So while I'm the executive,
so I think this is connected with the. It is connected with the. Oh, sorry. It is connected with the next question.
In the development of the MWIA training manuals on gender mainstreaming in health, and also training manual on adolescent sexuality. And we taught from these manuals at MWIA congresses and at regional meetings. I worked closely with the WHO in 2001 at the Rockefeller Institute in Bellagio, and in 2006 at the WHO African Regional Workshop, again on gender mainstreaming in health. And we did this in Ghana. In 2006, Professor Deborah Colville and I were invited to Geneva WHO for a meeting of global leaders in medical education to discuss integrating gender into the curriculum for health professionals. So we actually use that as an opportunity to demonstrate MWIA's strength in academic medicine. And currently, I'm a member of an international task force developing a core curriculum in obstetrics and gynecology for medical students globally. We are quite concerned that some countries are decreasing the amount of obstetrics and gynecology they are teaching the med students. So we would like to have a recommended core curriculum. And I've involved members of MWIA in the development of the curriculum, and I'll be sharing it amongst our members when it's finalised.
Oh, that is a great task. And this is connected with our next question that is coming as your humanitarian approach to by donating so many ultrasound machines, so many equipment, surgical equipment. So what do you, I mean?
So our members in low-income countries need equipment to improve
And
the
I think
outcome for their
India
patients.
also, of course.
So for 10 years, I was patron of the Medical Student Aid Project. And we organised and took supplies. The medical students took supplies to MWIA members overseas when they were doing their electives. And in fact, one of our students took a paediatric cystoscope to Ghana. It was the first and only paediatric cystoscope they had. In 1995, when I was chair of the Young Forum, I met the beautiful, wonderful Dr. Tulsi Basu, and she became the most amazing mentor and friend. She was very generous with her time because she had one male child who had moved with his wife and their baby to New Zealand. This, by the way, is relevant for my later on story. So Tulsi was instrumental in the workings of the Association of Medical Women in India Mission Hospital in Calcutta. It had 40 adult beds and 10 children's beds, one labour room, one emergency room, and one theatre. However, it had minimal instruments and supplies. It was staffed by members of AMWI for free. For many years, I raised awareness and sent supplies to this hospital so it could provide the desperately needed care for women and children. So that was my first understanding of humanitarian aid, going directly from one MWIA member to another. Since 1995, I've arranged for large amounts of surgical instruments, including hysteroscopic and laparoscopic equipment, to be delivered regularly to members of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. More recently, 70 Doppler ultrasounds and 21 portable ultrasounds were delivered to obstetricians in Nigeria, along with 2 days training for 40 obstetricians who travelled in from all over Nigeria. Also, under the auspice of MWIA, portable ultrasound machines were delivered to obstetricians in Tanzania, Afghanistan, Ghana, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the Dominican Republic of West Indies, the Solomon Islands, and Myanmar. On many occasions, I tried to donate portable ultrasounds to doctors in India, and very sadly, there's a law preventing this happening. Anyway, we do truly need to continue to advocate for more supplies to be sent to our colleagues in low-income regions. And in my opinion, these regional and triennial meetings are the best time for doctors from high-income countries to bring supplies and hand them over to doctors in low-income regions.
I think that is a very good charitable thought, and I was there in charge. At that time, when Dr. Usha Saraya told me that we are getting a grant of ultrasound machine, and we tried to move to the government for the permission. But as you mentioned correctly, that we had a law, this sex selection abortions and PCP entity law has just come in. So, the government did not allow us. But though your thoughts were very good that we should. And I think I agree with you that high income country doctors, when they meet in this CARC or regional conferences, they must bring some supplies and they should hand over to the doctors who can actually take it to there. And I think a great thank you, a very deep appreciation to you that you have given supplies to our Association Medical Women at Mission Hospital, which we did not know till now. So I think this really, in my presentation, it is going to be now all the, praises of the international grant through you to the our AMWA, which was not known to us till we invited you to this, podcast. And that is the beauty of this podcast. So many unknown factors are we are coming. So now, Dr. Vandana Bhavekar, a small question, because now is the time for a little interval where I'm going to show some personal beautiful pictures of Dr. Gabriel Kasper. We want to break the monotony of little questions, and then later on the again 4 to 5 questions will be continued. So Dr. Vandana, very brief question you can ask.
Very brief question. The brief question is that Dr. Gabriel, you have expressed as far as cancer and prevention and the results up till now. Do you think that creating the same concept for other multiple problems in the woman around the age will make a difference? And do you think that that project can create some awareness of women's health, improvement of women's health?
Yes, I think in a way, if you can get a youngster in the door, it helps. And to be able to get these young girls in and talk about a vaccine, and then later on when they come in and they want to talk about contraception, talk about sexually transmitted diseases, and then they seem to turn up for a lot of their antenatal care, and then they're lost. After women have a baby, they just disappear. And I think it's terribly sad because a lot of them don't know bleeding between periods is abnormal. They don't know how heavy bleeding should be before it's abnormal. They don't know we can help them with their hot flushes and their night sweats. So there's this big gap. We seem to, on the whole, often cover the younger girls and the pregnancy well. But I think the next step is where all countries seem to fall down. And it would be lovely to have short movies, little videos on the MWI website saying, yeah, is my bleeding abnormal? What checks should I get besides cervical screening, mammogram, bone density? But also, these women are probably more likely going to die from their heart attacks and strokes. Women are not just a cervix and breast. They sort of need to know that the rest of their body is very important as well. So yes, I would love to see MWIA take a greater role in educating women about their health. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic, ma'am. Thank you so much for that insight, because it does matter, small tips. And this is something I think we can take up, as small projects at even a local level, as AMWI members, make these small videos and small reels that are coming up now, and help our own women to deal with small issues to non-communicable diseases as well. Dr. Megh, ma'am, we are ready for that presentation, ma'am. Till madam is getting through with her video, I had a couple of questions for you. One was that you have talked about these small inputs that we can add on our websites and make available for patient education. But you have also been an advocate for issues like violence against women. Now, this year we have been working and doing these training courses under the guidance of Dr. Megh and the SIG. So you've also presented at the WHO and the United Nations on these issues on violence against women. So can you share some insight from these experiences that you have had, talking on these international bodies? And honestly, can you tell us what is the impact of all these policies that are made in WHO and the United Nations and in many international bodies on the local practices? How do we advocate them here? And, how can we make a difference at the ground level?
Thank you very much. So every 3 years, MWIA organises regional and international congresses, and they offer medical women the opportunity to discuss issues concerning the health and well-being of particularly women and the things that we see as women physicians and the issues that we would like to make as a unique contribution to the health of the community. So during these meetings, we formulate resolutions and statements representing our views. And two of our members, Professor Deborah Colville and Dr. Susie Close, have played a leading role in taking our issues and making them into resolutions and statements. Now, these resolutions and statements, we then take to the United Nations, the WHO, and World Medical Meetings. So since 1998, so for 27 years, I've been attending workshops at the United Nations, at meetings including the Commission on the Status of Women in New York. So this meeting that's held every March in New York It's the highest level international forum on gender equality and women's empowerment, and it's held annually. And the topics that our members have raised and then asked me to present on included things like access to healthcare, including maternity services, because a lot of countries there just isn't access for women to attend. And then the effects of climate or war on women's health, access to vaccines, including the HPV vaccine, sexual abuse and domestic violence, including the cruel, dehumanizing violations of human rights in cultural practices of widows in some of the towns in Nigeria. So I spoke on the rights of women in Afghanistan at UN meetings in New York in October 1998, and then again in April 2001. And that was well before the terrorist attacks in New York on September 11, 2001. So we as MWIA, through our attendees at this meeting, we spoke on these issues. And UN people did go into Afghanistan and they did come back and say, we are right, women have no rights. But as you say, and then what happens? What did the UN do about it? All they do is confirm it. So the MWIA, throughout our history, has undertaken advocacy against all forms of violence against women. I have found references to our work on trafficking of women going back to 1927. We were the first to raise the issue of female genital mutilation at the UN. UN Women describes violence against women and girls as a pervasive human rights violation of pandemic proportions. Based on World Bank data, the UN concludes that women aged 15 to 44 are more at risk from rape and domestic violence than from cancer, motor accidents, war, malaria combined. Perhaps the most pervasive human rights violation as we know today. Violence against women devastates lives, it fractures communities, and it stalls development. It takes many forms and occurs in many places. Domestic violence in the home, sexual abuse of girls in schools, sexual harassment at work, rape by husbands or strangers, and in refugee camps, or as we have seen recently, it is used as a tactic of war. Now, there is no simple solution, but there are some things that we as women doctors can do. And one step is we can certainly advocate that we need to educate male and female students in medicine, nursing, social work, politics, economics, police, the military, the media. In fact, every faculty in every university needs to teach students about violence against women. Personally, I believe the greatest step forwards are going to be in education of our whole community, men and women. And I think one of the most powerful things we've got right now is photos and media exposure of all the situations and solutions. But there certainly is no one step alone by one group of people alone who are going to make any difference to this particular situation.
I agree that it's not a one person's job at all. It is a collective action that we are all taking, and we need to actually take against violence against women. But yeah, I mean, we have to really, I think we all have to come together as a community, you know, all of us together when we do something. I think, and it's going to be a long way, it looks like, because like you said, you have been advocating this since years, and it's still a big, long way to go. So yeah, so there is a lot of work that, you know, we can all put in and put our efforts to it. When, you know, when you were talking, and, you know, I thought I could take this opportunity to, you know, talk to Gabriel ma'am, that you had a mentor, and you like you said, that Dr. Tulsi Basu was, you know, your beginning of this kind of a career in MWIA, which inspired you. So what advice would you give to young medical women? You know, how would we, like, as young women, want to engage ourselves in policy making and human right advocacy, and into all this. Because as women practitioners, we are so engrossed in our own practice, in our own work. Some people don't even know what it is to to move into advocacy and policy making. So what would you advise young professionals to, young women professionals rather, how would you put it on the background of your own journey?
I would like to start off with talking about leadership. So in many countries, women now comprise at least 50% of medical graduates. However, they are still underrepresented in senior leadership positions in the profession and in the wider health industry. Despite success in establishing clinical careers and the success of some women, women remain proportionately underrepresented in leadership positions in universities, hospitals, and in specialties, and in general practice colleges. Much needs to be done to ensure that barriers to the advancement of women are removed. Now, Amanda Sinclair, who's a professor of management in Melbourne, she's defined 4 phases or types of executive culture, which represent a range of conceptualizations and explanations that she's encountered for the absence of women in senior management. So stage 1 is denial. There is no problem. The absence of women from executive levels is not regarded as a problem. So basically, if we've never had women as heads of department, it's not an issue anyway. So that's stage 1, denial. But then they might improve themselves and they might go, oh, well, actually, stage 2, the problem is women. It's women's difference that's seen as the problem. And the solution is that women need to learn to adapt to be more like a man. So that's stage 2. Women are the problem. Stage 3 is called incremental adjustment. The organisation senses there's a problem, but they really don't want too many women anywhere. So what they do is they just allow 1 or 2 individual women to move up the tree. So that's stage 3. Now, what we really want is stage 4, and that's a commitment to a new culture. The exclusion of women is recognised as a symptom of deeper problems, requiring solutions focusing on the existing culture. The initiatives examine the ways things are currently done and the need for inside-out change. So we really need stage 4, where every department, every university realises that if you're excluding women, it is your issue. You need to do something about it. Now, Jennifer Alexander, who's an expert on leadership in medicine, she feels many of the hospitals, universities, and medical colleges are at stage 3, where they're just going to let 1 woman in now and then, and that will then make people feel that they're actually being gender equivalent. Many organisations do recognise that there are now more women in medicine and that women want to be represented in the leadership ranks of the profession. And so this Sinclair said that this 1 or 2 targeted appointments, this is seen as not being a high risk. It really isn't helping. And another issue is leading women doctors. As soon as you put a woman further up the tree, as soon as she actually does want to lead and make changes, where a man is labelled a leader, the woman may well be labelled difficult. She's just being difficult. We moved her up and all I want to do is change the status quo in our medical arena. Now, this actually has very serious consequences because it means anytime a woman doctor wants to change something, if she's labelled as a difficult woman instead of a leader, she's never going to be able to make progress. However, I would like to tell you there is hope. And MWIA and AMWIA, they do have many successful leaders, such as our president, Alon Watanabe, and our soon-to-be president-elect, Dr Mandakini Megh. So what we should be doing is looking at the positive things and trying to work out Our women members of our organisations, what do they have that has made them a successful leader? And I call it the 6 C's. First C is care. They have a concern for human well-being. The second one is character, which is consistent with integrity, honesty, respect, and trust. My third C is conviction. They have a passion and a commitment to vision. They want to change whatever needs to be changed when it is necessary. Fourth C is composure. Consistently display an appropriate emotional reaction, particularly in tough or crisis situations. My number 5 is competence. There is no doubt that the leaders in MWIA have proficiency in the hard skills, technical, functional, and soft skills. They can operate, they can treat patients, but they also have competency in communication, teamwork, and organisational skills. And my last one, number 6, that's the difficult one, courage. And it is the courage to stand up for your beliefs, challenge others, and also admit mistakes. So my recommendation for the young ones is look around your own organisation, look at your successful members in AMWI, go talk to them and ask them to be your mentor.
Fantastic. So I think these 6 C's are something that all of us need to, put it up in all our clinics, and, all medical women need to put it up somewhere in their diary or in their, place of work. That is care, character, conviction, composure, competence, and courage. That was a fantastic piece of advice that we have got from you, ma'am. Thank you so much for this. So yes, I mean, young women need to go up to their mentors. Most of the time they are hesitant to get up and to move on. So I think this is a great message to all these young women leaders, women doctors who are watching this show today and who will be also seeing the recording and
each other and still learning from each other. At the other extreme, I've mentored many medical students and doctors and helped them overcome adversity and to achieve their career and life goals. It is a great honour and a privilege to mentor these women. I'm keen to encourage medical students and doctors to widen their medical experience to include advocacy and an understanding of global medical issues. I have taken 77 medical students and young doctors to the United Nations Commission on the Status of Meeting in New York. And since COVID, I've got another 142 medical students who presented at that meeting and met people virtually. So my mentees see advocacy as being undertaken in a high-stakes situation. They gain an understanding of the UN architecture and the CSW process, and they also get an understanding of matters relating to gender equality and human rights, and they meet members of MWIA. Most medical courses place a lot of great emphasis on academia, clinical skills, research, teaching, volunteering. How I believe core curriculum should include how to undertake effective advocacy. And at my university, I've arranged for advocacy and violence against women and girls to be included in the medical student core curriculum. It is equally as important in our curriculum as heart attacks and strokes. Now, my number 1 star mentee, I have had loads and loads of young med students and doctors who I've mentored in Australia and overseas. But one of them stood out. Her name is Ashna. And Ashna joined our local branch, the Medical Women's Society of New South Wales, as a medical student. And she was only young, but she was very insightful. And I kept saying to all the other older doctors like me, I don't understand. There's something special about Ashna. There's something I don't understand. Why is it she's got a 60-year-old head on a little young 24-year-old body? She's like the company director. and she runs a company that advises NGOs on government. So my understanding is Basu is in India, like Smith is in Australia. Now, Ashna was on a rural rotation. She was away from her friends, she was away from her family, and she was very lonely. And I was talking on the phone, and I said, you know, while you're there, at least you'll be home soon, and you'll be home with family. She said, no, I won't. My family live in New Zealand. Now, even though Basu is in India is a very common name, on a whim, half jokingly, I said, oh, just wondering, are your parents doctors? And you've got a grandmother called Tulsi in Calcutta? Well, can you believe it? I've been mentoring Tulsi Basu's granddaughter all that time. I had no idea. So Tulsi died when Ashna was 12, and they had only seen each other a few times. I then spent hours and hours and hours telling her about Tulsi and telling her about the mission hospital. I had boxes and boxes of faxes and letters and gifts from Tulsi, my number one favorite international first mentor. So let's go fast forward. It's now a couple of years later. When I first met her, she was only about 23 or 24. She's just turned 30. She's currently past president of the Medical Women's Society of our New South Wales branch. She's the current chair of Young MWIA. She's been named a Global Youth Fellow by the NGO Committee of the Status of Women. And last year at the UNCSW, she was chosen to moderate a panel in the enormous official ECOSOC chamber on closing the gender gap in education. It was co-hosted by the President of the General Assembly and UN Women. It was an enormous honor. I think it's an example of the mentor surpassing the mentee, rather, surpassing the mentor. Ashna tonight is working, so she couldn't join us, but she wanted me to tell you that Young MWIA is alive and well. There's a global book club. There's spotlight series, stories of young medical women around the world on social media. They've got a mentorship program. She's keen to expand Young MWIA, and I'll be able to send you her email address for you to contact her. So I care for my mentees with compassion and understanding, and I hope one day they will in turn mentor the next generation of medical women in our international association. But I will never understand, with your millions and millions and millions of population in India, how Tulsi could be my first international mentor. And next thing you know, I am now mentoring her granddaughter. And what an amazing granddaughter she is. And if we can, we'd like to show you a video of her. We've got some photos first, maybe. And once after you had some photos, we'd like to show you a video of her sharing that.
Yes. Yeah, after the photos, we also have that video which is coming up, and this is a very, very interesting coincidence, and life comes back in full circles. So that's how it is. And when this is a fantastic explanation and example of how you do something and it moves on in a chain. So we will keep it in mind, ma'am, that this has to go on, this mentorship, and it is a wonderful thing that you have started. We have so many of our teachers here. Dr. Vandana Varelkar is one of them. Dr. Megh, Dr. Saraya, they have been mentoring so many of us, and that is why they have brought us into the association, and now it is our duty to get some more women to have faith in AMWI and MWI and move on this chain of good work. So I think the PPT is on. Dr. Megh, ma'am, would like to show us. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think I will say this is purely, we believe in God, of course. So this is so spiritual, and whatever God says, that whatever you give comes back to you. So I think, Gabriel, it's such a great coincidence. It is worth mentioning and it is worth writing. So I'd like you to write a nice article when we publish our the book journal from the Kolkata. So that will everybody will come to know. Because many of them couldn't join today. So we are recording your session and definitely we'll like to hear this again and again. So thank you wonderfully, mentoring our own Tulsi Basu's granddaughter. So now today I'm just going to show you very interesting picture. Sorry for the interruptions in between. So AMWI Global Connect Dialogue. So this is the second podcast, and we are very much enriched by Dr. Bettina, Dr. Gabriel, Kasper, and wonderful. I think everybody is enjoying. So in the biography, what one strike to me was a very important, that is advocacy, women's health, protection of human rights. I think we already discussed, but that is touching to me as far as the quality and work of Dr. Gabriel Kasper is connected. She has very gracefully sent me wonderful slides, which I have included few of my slides, and now it is becoming a very, you will enjoy this presentation. So this is AMWI Global Connect Dialogue and Professor Gabriel Kasper on 14th. Now Tulsi Basu, we are talking about young generation and new office bearers. They do not know how Tulsi Basu was looking. So you can see here Dr. Tulsi Basu, mentor and mentee, you can see here. Then again, Tulsi Basu, one of the international conferences, see how our AMWI was represented. Everybody was international. Then this is Aarti Basu. This is another Basu. And as Gabriel has mentioned very correctly, their Basus are very common. So she is Aarti Basu. She was 2016. She was the president of AMWI when we went to Vienna. You can see Tulsi Basu. This is a mission hospital operation theater, delivery theater, selflessly doing the work, silently doing the work in one corner of the country. I think the most admirable, heads off to these women. Now this is the Association Medical West Bengal branch, which very fondly has been now discussed throughout. And they are doing so much work. Association is running a hospital without any, and they are not taking any charges. They are honorary. Everybody is honorary there. So what a great, souls are there of the women. And this is the one which is provoking me to, give such honorary membership, because I'm very thrilled to see life member. So now you are one of us. You are our own life member, Dr. Gabriel, and we really consider you as our own member of association. And you read it very carefully. What is written here? Presented to Dr. Gabriel Kasper, all your help in April 2001 by Mission Hospital, founded by Marie Katachur, Dr. Mar, such a great soul. And now in this conference, they invited me to give the oration in her name. And see the great ladies here, they have given just a very plain language, help, no flowery language, only help. So I think, thank you, doctor. And we are really knowing so many things which we are not known. This is the Dr. Jerusa Girard, under whose honor the Girard oration has been instituted, and now we are every year we are giving. And I think, if I correct me if I'm wrong, that this is the only international organization, the MWI is giving the orations to the international presidents, and now I have started the CRC oration. So I think that is a very great contribution of MWI, our ancestors, I can say. Now see the beautiful photograph here. Can you recognize our own today's guests? Beautiful photograph. And here also another beautiful photograph. This is, I was installed and here again, beautiful photograph, chief guest. And this is Appa Hesi, Usha Saraya. We can see Yamini here. And many of the present people are here. Like Mridul Chande, Shobha Patode, so many people, Yamini Arsi, you can see all of them here. So this is a wonderful, this is 2019 when the 100 years of our Medical Women International was, celebrated in New York. So this is this is a very memorable photograph shared by Dr. Kasper. See, this is me and this is our now present. This was 2004. if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
And it was the Bangkok Central Asia Conference. And that time we were the guest of the Queen. And that is how we were provided accommodation in a very nice hotel. She became the president of MWI. Kuang Hu Pak became the president of MWI. Dr. Gabriel became the president of MWI. And now me as a president of MWI. It's a beautiful historical photograph. These are all dancing queens. You can see here myself, Sharad Rao, Bhaktu, and Parveen Merji. And this, I was searching for this photograph. I remember such a beautiful night. We all Indians have, you can see here, just gleaming with the, this is our Indian. This has been shared by our distinguished guest. And nicely we are sitting in the glory and reflection of Girard orators here. We are sitting here nicely. You can identify many of you who are present here are here. And this is a wonderful photograph. Having lots of wine, we have been taken in Vienna conference to the winery. If you remember, Dr. Gabriel, and we were having wine tasting was there, and we were really enjoying the evening. And this was MWI Vienna conference.
I'd like to say I was sitting with the best company for dinner that night. These three delegates are very important women. It was the best dinner. I had a private dinner with my three friends.
Correct. Yeah. So this was the place. And now going back to the history, this is the Vienna Girard oration. Just before that, this is Vienna, and it was given to the Dr. What is her name? Yeah. And from the Korea, you can see here, Dr. Bong. And again, our Indian delegates are there. And I just added this photograph that 2019, where these are all regional vice president. That time Clarissa was the president. Later on, unfortunately, she resigned. And I was the vice president, Central Asia. So, and again, here again, we are meeting at all the conferences. You can see 100 years of Medical Federation, Women's Federation is a London branch. You can see here again, beautiful photographs. I thought it is Dr. But later on, this is me this is British Medical Association, beautiful building, very iconic building. And I was very impressed with this building. And again, you can see here, cluster of friends, young Gabriel.
30 years ago.
Yeah, and then this is the ultrasound machine. This is Rosemary, if I'm not mistaken. And gynecologist, yeah, Nigeria. And you can see the beautiful gifts, donation given by Dr. Kesper.
May I jump in and could you just go back one photo? I get Rosemary to do a lecture for my students, just to the one of Rosemary. You can bring her up.
Yeah, this one?
Yeah.
This one?
And so Rosemary is a fabulous obstetrician and gynecologist. Her unit, this is one of the ultrasound machines that we gave them. They have minimal supplies. She wrote the WHO handbook on how to manage postpartum hemorrhage in low-income countries. So pregnant women, the most common cause of death is bleeding after having a baby. She wrote the manual for WHO, but in her own hospital, even though the drugs are cheap, she often does not have the drugs to give. Even when she does have the drugs to give, you are not allowed to treat a female patient.
International.
So the practice is she's bleeding out, is evil spirits living in her body, then she's not allowed to give them the drugs. So she has to deal with the not having the money for the drugs and the supplies, and so the cultural influences of a male partner saying whether his wife is allowed to have treatment or not, depending on their culture. So it's a very difficult position to be in. It's like the double. It's not just lack of money, it's the cultural issues as well. And she's always smiling and always happy. And when my students ask her, but how can you bear working in this environment? She says, because I am being the best doctor I can for my circumstances, which I think is a beautiful way of viewing her life.
I know. Yeah, so this is there against all odds. a low resource country, so much of torture, and even the genital mutilation, widows.
Yeah.
There are lots of problems. I think wonderful work. And you have mentioned in your lecture this Tanzania, Afghanistan, Rwanda, I think that is a great gesture. If I don't mistake, this is Vienna conference. I don't know. This is Vienna.
I think it was America.
USA, yeah.
2019.
Yeah. And here, this is a Western Pacific Regional Congress. I think every MWI president is supposed to, attend all these congresses and be the chair. And this is also, I am not aware of this photograph, but it is shared.
That was Deb and Susie. They're the ones that helped write the resolutions at all our meetings.
Oh, okay, nice. And this is our own Dr. Elinar, and she has done lots of work in the Widows Development Organization in Nigeria. And now at present, she is the president. You can see two beautiful presidents here. So now I have to do cosmetic surgery to look beautiful for my presidentship.
You will fit in beautifully. You can make the triplets.
And this is what she was talking about, the UN Women. CSW, I had the opportunity to attend twice with Dr. Usha Sir in 2014 and 2016. Yamini Arshi and so many people we have, I think, represented India in this CSW, and the gender gap and side events and so on and so forth. And this was in the COVID period. And you can see this is RCOG. Dr. Kasper, you're a student in the RCOG or what?
Just
Royal
in
College?
medicine. They're
Royal
just
College.
finishing medicine. They're very young.
And this is now you are going to see the beautiful video of her mentee, that is Dr. Basu, younger Basu. This is all the photographs of the United Nations, big delegation, smiling faces. You can see our own, distinguished speaker today here, and beautiful. And I think I had the privilege of being in the United Nations. We went to 2019 and we met, I think, one of the past presidents there, and it was great. And this is Dr. This video thing you are going to play, you will be playing, and mentor and mentee, how beautifully they're looking, so happy to serve the humanity, to happy to be in each other's company. And that is a perfect relationship, and we really take a lot of inspiration from this. So I think, thank you very much from the AMWI. We are indebted, Dr. Kasper, and I think you have opened so many new vistas to think from different angles and keep on guiding us, especially me. And I will look forward to your support, your, guidance from time to time when I become the president, even organizing and planning also. So with these few words and beautiful photographs, I think I stop here, and thank you very much for sharing such beautiful photographs. And you can.
So thank you, ma'am, for taking us down this whole memory lane that Professor Gabriel has shared with us. And that has been a wonderful journey, looking through all her work and, the generous donations of ultrasound machines and so much work in cervical cancer. And so I think we'll play the video and then move on with the some more questions.
Beautiful video.
Can you hear the sound now?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this side event exploring the gender gap in education, co-hosted by the President of the General Assembly and UN Women. A very big thank you to both teams for putting together such an important event with a fascinating and diverse range of speakers, and thank you to your excellencies for your important words today. I am Dr. Ashna Basu, and I live and work in Australia, where we customarily acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. This is done in respect for over 60,000 years of First Nations wisdom in Australia. I believe in New York today, we are meeting on the ancestral lands of the Lenape people. I would like to acknowledge this region's original inhabitants and pay my respect to First Nations people connected to this land and to those that are here with us today. To introduce myself, I was born in Kolkata, India, raised in Wellington, New Zealand, and went to medical school in Sydney, Australia. I've been working as a doctor in Sydney for 5 years, specialising in psychiatry, and I'm a local and global advocate for gender equity in health and mental health. As you heard, I'm the chair of the young branch of the medical.
For this insight, and we should not stop. We have to keep moving. And yes, we have to move to a time when we don't really need Medical Women Association. And that would be one day that all of us dream about. So that is so wonderful. Thank you.
So to conclude, I think the last concluding, I think you have already answered. But again, I'd like to ask you, would you like to suggest to a younger version of yourself? What suggestion you will give?
Well, for the young doctors listening in today, members of MWIA and AMWIA have an honourable challenge to improve the health status of our patients and the status of women doctors and medical students across the globe. Taking up this responsibility is not a charity, but it's a unique responsibility. The challenge is enormous. Please give Dr. Mandakini Megh your full support in her role as President-elect of MWIA.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to share with you the words of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first woman president. If your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough.
No.
Dream big, improve women's lives, and I guarantee you will have a lifetime of enjoyment. Thank you.
I think with these very, very inspiring words and so much to take, I think it is one of the best interviews I have ever heard. And I think it should go viral once we put it on our, I think YouTube, it should go viral. And so, I mean, so many young doctors, you can see Sidra. I think all the people now, please open your videos so that we can take a nice photograph with madam. And please open your cameras and everybody, Anjali Chivne, there are many people, Nagpur President, Bhaktawar, please open your camera so that we can just have a documentation that you were there. And I think with these words, I think a great thank you. And we hope that whenever we require you, Dr. Kasper, you are there for us.
I'm a member of your association, so of course I'm there. I have life.
You are our member also, honorary member. So we take that opportunity to be disturbing you, or you taking, guidance from you many a times. So I think Gauri, our
Before
Dr.
we close, can we have some
Nalini Kurve.
Yeah, and Kurve ma'am, can we have a few words from you about?
We have many past presidents here of AMWI. Yamini will say a few words.
Yeah. So thank you, Gauri. Thank you, Dr. Mandakini. I must thank Dr. Professor Gabriel for accepting our invitation to be part of this podcast too. And the way she explained her journey from young age till date in the AMWIA and about her mentor and how she is mentoring the young generation, that is appreciable. So I congratulate Professor Gabriel for being the mentor of so many young women doctors and being the passionate about women's health by choosing the gynecologist as a profession. And she not only talk about it, but her humanitarian approach of gifting the medical equipment to so many medical institutes, including the one in Kolkata, our mission hospital, and which we are very proud of, and which she is also very proud of herself. So thank you, Dr. Gabriel, for being with us. And thank you, Dr. Mandakini and Gauri and all the viewers and all the members of Association of Medical Women in India. I must say thank you all of you for listening and for viewing this podcast. So thank you.
Yes. So thank you so much, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank Professor Gabriel Kasper for giving her valuable time. She's had a very busy month and, she's very busy with so many things, but we really are thankful that she squeezed in so much time for all of us, to talk to us tonight. It is pretty late in the evening for her today, actually. So we are so thankful to you, ma'am, for, sharing all the lovely pictures and videos. And it is really so important. Mentorship, it means a lot, and how it can transform lives. Of course, I would like to thank our chief guest for today, Dr. Vandana Valvekar ma'am, who's always an inspiration, and she has been a great mentor herself. So a wonderful thank you, ma'am, for being with us. All our office bearers who are here, the past office bearers, present office bearers, Dr. Sidra Khoth, she's been running from hospital to this webinar, trying to, manage her time. So, how it is with young women doctors. So, she's a perfect example of today, she's logging in and logging out of everything. So thank you, Sidra, for, squeezing in your schedule for all this. And of course,
Gauri, can I just...
Yes, one moment, ma'am. I want to also thank Dr. Amit Punkar, who is actually helping us. And yes, Megh, ma'am, if you can come in.
No, this is very important.
Can I say something?
No, 1 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute. I got a mail from Mini Oseji, who is the chairperson of the violence against women. She has not joined the faculty link, but she has given a wonderful message to Dr. Gabriel Kasper. I want to read it. This is good day, Professor Kasper. Listening to you speak today at the AMWI event was inspirational. May I? And she is the cabinet minister in her country recently. Apart from being the MWI chairperson, may I have any reference for your statement on 6 CS? I will forward you the mail. I want to include it in my upcoming book on practical ways to be an effective woman leader. So she has invited you. I am just forwarding her. And then be in touch with her and see how many women leaders who are already there. They have joined from some other link actually. So actually I sent her that faculty link, but I don't think. But anyway, this is wonderful. Message from our one of the chairperson. Now you please carry on. Arshi?
May I say that when I
Good
was
morning,
a
everybody.
young,
I must congratulate first Mandakini for organizing such beautiful program. And I remember meeting Gabriel Kasper twice in New York and also in South Korea at conferences. But I was not able to attend the Vienna conference, which she was there. And I'm really, I have seen her always coming with her students in the conference, not only alone. She had always her students with her. And she is doing a wonderful job because she was the inspiration for us also all the time. She was working on SPV vaccination, and we remember. And I also congratulate Gauri. You have done a wonderful job. I must congratulate you and appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And Mandakini, no problem.
Always the thanks goes to the AMWI, because if it weren't for Tulsi sitting next to me and guiding me when I was in Young Forum and continuing to guide me and pushing me to take on being president, she pushed and pushed me, I wouldn't be here today. I would have just done the 3 years, got scared and run away. So you really need someone to assist you in these enormous organizations. And Tulsi did that for years and years and years. She mentored me. And for that, I'm extremely grateful.
I think that's a great role she played. Instead of she becoming the president, she has made you she's a queen maker, I can say.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
King maker, she's a queen maker. So she is a better, bigger role and a very generous person, I can say. A wonderful.
So I think we can move to conclude the session. So thank you, Dr. Mandakini Megh, ma'am, for supporting this idea of having inspiring women leaders coming from all over the world who've been presidents of MWIA. They have so much experience on their hands, to share one small evening with us and to talk to us, go down their journey. And there's so much that we can learn, and they're so inspiring for medical women to come together and just make a chain, a human chain, where all of us come together and make one world. That is our concept, because we believe in India is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that one world, one family. And that has been the basis on which we are building this Global Dialogue Connect series. And that was what was Madam's idea. And she is now mentoring me, and Dr. Valvekar was my mentor when I was a student, and now Dr. Megh is my mentor. So I have too many people pushing me up. So I'm feeling so happy to see them all together. So thank you so much. And we've had a lovely evening. So hope to see you soon in our next podcast series that will come. The announcements will come. So thank you all members who have joined from all over the world. Good night and have a lovely
Our next speaker is going to be from Nigeria, Dr. Afua Hesse. And, and we are seeing to it that most of the past president who are the Gerard orators also. So, so it becomes a great combination also. And they come out with 80% of your stuff was not known to us, even as a president. So that makes it so successful because the point of view of other, the faculties, the person, they have done so much with the India. Unless until Tilsibas is not there, there is nobody to tell us the history also.
History.
So I think we are
even our last session with Professor Bettina was also very inspiring, and she gave us such lovely examples of leadership qualities and how leadership in women healthcare and institution and organizations can come up. And today we've got such a lovely message of mentorship and humanitarian approach and philanthropy. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all this. So I take your leave. Thank you and namaste from India. Good night.
And I ask him to make a nice YouTube.
Ma'am, we'll ask us. We'll stop going live. Amit sir.
Yeah. So thank